Welcome back to my channel. I need an intro, like an intro outside of my intro, but I need an extra intro. I'm doing a lot right now. I'm on TikTok Live. I'm on TikTok Live on my iPad. And then I'm also filming this YouTube video, and I'm also doing my hair. I'm glad to have y'all back. If you don't know, my name is Bray-Lynn, CEO, HBCU Campus Baddies. And you know, a lot of what I do is giving girls advice about college stuff, but from my own experience. So today, the advice topic is kind of going to be all over the place. I'm just going to give sprinkles of advice as I go through. But the story time today is really about this guy. We'll give him a name, Chuck. The story time today is about this guy named Chuck, fake name. Chuck was probably the longest sneaky link I ever had, and also probably the guy that got away with the most stuff. We're just gonna get into that a little bit today. As I flat iron my hair, so get your snacks or whatever you're doing, or if you're doing your hair, perfect, we're twins. Let's get into it today. So yes, I met Chuck through my guy best friend, and he had lived with my guy best friend. They were roommates. So I seen him, I don't even know when I seen him. I think my guy best friend was just telling me on the phone one day, like, because he had already lived in an apartment, but he had a roommate before, and he was like, this guy's about to move in or whatever. And I was like, oh really, like what he looked like, da, 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 da. Like on some funny shit. I was like, oh yeah, really, what he looked like. And then he sent me his Instagram, whatever, and I was like, oh wait a minute. I was like, oh wait a minute. And he was cute, so I went through the Instagram. I think I followed him, and then he followed me back. Because we had mutuals, but he didn't go to the school, so he never went to A&T or whatnot. But he just, you know, had a bunch of mutuals. He knew people that went to school, blah blah blah. Well, he did. Let me stop. I think he did go to A&T for a little while. But anyways, so Chuck followed me back on Instagram, and I think we would flirt on Instagram before we met, like really met. But I guess he had already knew who I was, because I told my guy best friend, like, put me on, basically. And I was like, put me on with Chuck. Like, tell Chuck I said, what's up? I forgot the song, how it goes. Something, what's up with you? So we ended up linking, whatever, sneaky link type stuff. And you know what? Honestly, this is going to be my first piece of advice. When I first met Chuck, I wasn't looking for a serious relationship necessarily. Like, I was focused. It was like around the time where I was really about to start focusing on running for Miss A&T anyways. So I was focused on other things, and I didn't like go into things with Chuck on like very intentionally. And one thing I would say, like, even if you're not looking for a serious relationship, any guy you talk to, like, have a plan. Like, at least go in with some type of plan. Like, because if you don't go in with a plan, time will just pass you by, and you'll end up making mistakes that you can't, like, take back, obviously. But we started talking or whatever. We linked a couple times, and it was cool. We would flirt on Instagram back and forth. Like, it was nothing serious. Now, I did hear some rumors about Chuck, especially from my guy best friend, because he was a roommate, right? So he used to keep me in the loop. And I knew Chuck was messing with some other girl. I didn't know how serious it was. I didn't know the girl. I didn't know of the girl. Let me make that clear. I didn't know of that girl. We just went to the same school and had mutuals. Like, that's the thing about college. Like, you will go, like, the school is big, but the school is not that big. Surprise, surprise, you're messing with the same man. The same man that you thought was all low-key and nonchalant. And so I was in my feelings a little bit, but I wasn't, like, too much in my feelings because I had other stuff going on. But anyways, found out Chuck was talking to another girl a little bit more seriously than our situation. And then we had our first sneaky link toxic situation. So we'll get into that right now. And I had came over on a drunk night. Like, I really had came over and drunk responsibly in the apartment with my best friend. We didn't go anywhere. And then I was like, well, since I'm here, is Chuck home? Like, and then Chuck ended up coming home. So, or I posted on my story, I was with my guy best friend, and he was like, oh, you in the crib, you ain't tell me, or something like that. And so I was like, yeah, I'm finna slide to Chuck's room. I went to see Chuck in his room, and I was already kind of tore up. Chuck was drinking too. I think Chuck had came back from a party or somewhere, because he was already kind of drinking too. Or he at least had started drinking when I came in the room. So I'm drinking with Chuck now in his room. We're talking, chatting it up. We do what we do. We do a little bit of what we do, you know, we get into it. And then after we get into it, he kind of blows me, because I don't know, I think his phone had rung or something. His phone had rung and I was drunk, so I was like, is that old girl playing? I guess I was playing. And I really don't know what he said, y'all. I'm trying to think, because it was a drunk night, like I said, so I don't really remember. All I know is he said something that made me mad. And after he said that, I was like going off on him, where I just had a big attitude. All I know is we got into it a little bit, because I felt like he was being disrespectful. Like, we just did what we did, and now either we had got into it about the girl. I have an attitude. He has like headphones on his desk, and I knocked the headphones off the desk, and he's like, don't touch my stuff, like, don't touch my stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whatever. Like, when I'm drunk and I have an attitude, I have the biggest, like, I don't give a F energy ever. I'm like, whatever. Mind you, I'm 5 foot at this point, probably just touching 100 pounds, and he's like 6'2" or whatever. After I knocked the headphones off, he's like, oh, you gotta get out, like, get out of here with that. And so I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. I don't know why I was like, no, I'm not leaving. Like, me, I'm a leaver. So that's how you know I was messed up, because normally me, I'll leave a bad situation. If you make me mad, I'm walking out the door. Like, I don't care what time of the night it is. If I got my own car and I got my own place, I'm leaving. So for some reason, I was like, no, I'm not leaving. Like, I was standing my ground. So he like gets up, tries to like pick me up, push me out the chair a little bit. And let me make it clear, like, Chuck did not put his hands on me. Like, he wasn't beating me up or nothing crazy like that. But he was just trying to escort me out of his room. I'm fighting him back a little bit. Like, I'm pushing back or whatever. So we're tussling a little bit, trying to get me out the door. I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere. La, 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 la. I'm making all this noise. And then he finally gets me out the door. By the time he gets me out the door, I am on the floor, like the door frame, like I'm in the middle. By the time he gets me out the door, like I'm on the floor in front of the door frame, and I'm on the floor, and I'm just like bang, bang, bang. Like I'm just banging my foot up on the door. Mind you, my best friend, my guy best friend, is in the other room the whole time. He finally comes out the room, and magically, I guess, they opened the door at the same time. I guess I stopped banging when my guy best friend came out the room. And so he opened the door. And he was like, oh, you gotta get her, man. I don't know what's going on. She's drunk, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's trying to explain for me. And I'm like, I fucking hate you. Like, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. My guy best friend pulls me in his room. And he's like, just calm down, like, tell me what happened. I had actually texted Chuck when I woke up, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, at this point, I knew I was cooked. Like, I knew Chuck was not gonna talk to me at this point. So I just texted him, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what happened last night. You gotta, like, I don't know. I just basically was trying to cover my own butt. So I texted Chuck. I don't remember if he texted me back. Like, I don't know when he texted me back. But after all of that, I guess we took a little break. And then me and Chuck started texting again, like talking again, flirting again on Instagram, whatever. We would just laugh about it. Like, we got past it pretty much. And by my senior year of college, me and Chuck were definitely messing around a little bit more heavily. Like, nothing serious, but just more often, I guess. I had a girlfriend. I would always mention to her Or if we were leaving the club or something, I would be like, I'm probably going to go see Chuck, like whatever. Like I would tell her stuff like that. And so somehow she ended up meeting Chuck. I don't know when the first time she really met Chuck, or maybe it was at a party, somebody pointed him out. I don't know. This is also a piece of advice. You could be messing with a guy for like a week, or you know, y'all could go on one date, and so you really don't need to be telling how many people who you mess with anyway, because you might not be messing with them for that long, and 9 times out of 10 they have another situation going on. So anyways, I had told my girlfriend at the time like about Chuck, and somehow they had met. I don't know, maybe the first time they met I introduced them, maybe that was my bad. But one night, it was like after a pajama party or something, me and my girlfriend I went to, and Chuck had called me, routine type stuff. And he was like, where y'all at? What y'all up to? Da, da, da. And I guess I was a little lit too, so I was like, yeah, you can come over. My friend is over here, like we can drink and stuff, like we can all just chill, have a good time. And so she ended up she was already over, and Chuck ended up coming over like late. I guess he had dropped his friends off or whatever. And we all were just chilling, vibing, la 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 la. But it's just getting later and later in the night. Mind you, I never made it a thing to where my girlfriend at the time was gonna sleep over. She may have took an edible or whatnot, and then she was like, I'm just gonna stay, like, and I was just like, cool, whatever. And Chuck ends up staying too. We all end up just having a big sleepover at in my apartment. We all end up just sleeping in the same bed in my apartment. And Chuck is like messing with me in the bed, la la la. In my head, I'm like a little bit lit, but so I'm like, is Chuck messing with me and her at the same time in this bed right now? I don't know. Maybe Chuck is. So I remember waking up and going back to sleep, and Chuck is in the bed with me, and I guess old girl had moved to the sofa. So by the time I wake up, I'm like, okay, is she still here? I go out in the living room, I check. I'm like, okay, she's still here. She's on the sofa. I'm like, okay, I guess at some point in the night she got up and moved to the sofa or whatever. And then I don't know who left first, her or Chuck, but Chuck, it's so funny calling him Chuck. It's not Chuck. But let's fast forward, because Chuck ended up, like, okay, like I said, the girl knew I was talking to Chuck or whatever, and she knew that was my sneaky link at the time. Well, let's fast forward to like graduation party. Me and Chuck still messing with each other, but not like super duper heavily, because at this point I'm like, okay, I'm about to move, I'm about to graduate. I really don't want to be attached to college guys after I graduate. Like, I feel like all high school seniors and college seniors, y'all should all have the mental thing where it's like, when I graduate, I may not see or be attached to any of these people again. It's just best to have the mindset to where you kind of feel like you're not going to see these people again, because it helps you move on and helps you make new friends and experiences and stuff. So that's how I felt my senior year. So with Chuck, I was like, me and Chuck are probably not going to talk when I graduate college, and that's going to be okay. Like, and we kind of had talked about it a little bit. Like, he was like, oh, you're going to move and you're going to get married and you're going to start your family and all that, and grow up and blah, blah, because he was a little bit older than me. But yeah, so that graduation night, we're like, I guess trying to find after moves or whatever. And my girlfriend is like, I'm gonna call Chuck. I was like, people call Chuck? Like, when did you get Chuck number? Because I didn't give you Chuck number. And not that I had anything against Chuck mess with my friends, because we weren't together. I really didn't give a F who Chuck messed with or what. But also, like, I feel like as a girl, like as a friend, like, if you tell me you're talking to a guy, I don't want nothing to do with that guy. Like, nothing to do with that guy. Like, I don't want to kick it with him. I don't want to chill with him. I don't want to talk to him. Nothing. I don't want to go skating. Nothing. So after graduation and stuff, me and Chuck, I thought we were not going to talk anymore. But I moved back home with my parents, and I started a new job and stuff. And he had ties to where I was at. So he would come through, like drive through sometimes the city whenever he was going to where he was going. And he'd be like, hi, just passed your exit, la 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 la. And then one time, he passed my exit, or he was passing my exit, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna stop by and see you. Like, what are you doing? Like, let's go get something to eat. It was actually the first time in probably 2 years of knowing Chuck that we did something wholesome together in public. Like, we went out to eat. You know, he paid for my food. Nothing super fancy. And we talked and we chilled and we had our first little date. Like, it was cute. It was cool. And after that, like, Chuck went his way and I went my way, and I didn't really think about it. And then it just kind of kept going like that. Anytime he would come through the city, he would stop. Or he would just say, like, hey, I'm coming through your city, what you up to? Like, and maybe we would see each other, maybe we wouldn't. And so that's another point to, like, even though I planned on, like, not talking to any college boys after I graduated, like, for my mental health, and then also, like, just so I can move on, you don't know what life is going to throw you. Like, when we did start talking again, it was way more cordial, way more nice. Like, we had way more respect for each other, because Chuck was the type of dude, y'all, like, when we were in college, Chuck was the type of sneaky link that I let get away with anything. Like, I let him talk to me all kinds of crazy ways. Like, I let him come over any time of the night, like, any time of the day. And, like, I think I also liked it because I got to let out more of my freaky side with Chuck. Like, Chuck brought out my first freaky side, but it was not good. Like, but 9 times out of 10, you will end up dealing with a guy that will, like, get you out your body in that way. Like, we were finally cordial, like, for real. Now, no sneaky link time. Like, at this point, we probably hadn't had sex in, like, a year and a half. So we were really just cordial and talking. And then Thanksgiving went. He had invited me even to, like, his family's little shindig, but I didn't get to go. Like, it was like, I don't know if it even had happened. He had just invited me, but because I was in town the same time he was in town. But I was like, wow, like, you're inviting me to family stuff now? Like, we were at that point, like, we were sharing stuff more about our lives. Like, he was sending me pictures of his niece and stuff. Like, it was real cute. And I thought, honestly, it felt like a good friendship. It started to feel more like a friendship than a sneaky link. And no sex was involved at this point. I had an opportunity to go up to where Chuck was, because we didn't live in the same city at this point anymore. But I had an opportunity to go up to where he was, and I reached out to him. And he was like, yeah, like, come see me when you come by. And so I wasn't really going up to just see him. I was going up to see my friend. But I was like, okay, I'll come early so I can have a chance to come see you. And I did. And we didn't end up linking. And so I texted him and I was like, well, I already saw my friend, like, I'm about to leave. And he was like, well, you can come through still and come see me. Red flag. Like, if a guy tells you to come see him and he don't have no plans, because I tried to originally make plans. I did not want to go back to sneaky linking with this man because it had already been a year and a half. Like, I had already, you know, kind of moved on, really. I had even offered, like, let's go to this dessert place that I knew in the city that he was in. And we didn't end up going to do that. So the next morning, like I said, I texted him I'm about to leave. And I got dressed and everything just because I know me. Like, if I put on makeup, I get dressed real pretty. Like, I'm not coming over to sneaky link. Like, if I'm coming over to sneaky link, no makeup, hair tied up, you know what time it is. I was just ready, dressed for anything, basically. So I get over there, though. He's in his pajamas and his robe and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Like, and I knew this was a possibility, too, so I wasn't too mad. But I also wasn't coming over there to sneaky link. And I honestly, at that point, like, I hadn't gotten to the maturity level that I am now. So where it's like, okay, if I thought I had plans with this guy and he, and I come over and you're in pajamas and I'm all dressed up and you're not, like, clicking in your brain like that, okay, she's dressed up. Maybe she thought we were about to go somewhere. Let me throw on something real quick. Like, he didn't even do that. So at that point, I was like, I should have left. Like, I should have left way earlier than I did, but I was just sitting around watching TV with him. Like, we had watched Shark Boy and Lava Girl the whole movie through. Like, And then it was like, I think I got over there at like 11-ish, and then like 1 o'clock came around. He was like, "Oh, my friend's coming over," and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm about to get on the road. Like, I'm about to go back home anyway." So that was that, and that was like early January 2024. And from that time, like after I left his house, like we did not talk. Like that was that. Like I guess maybe he thought he was going to jump right back into some sneaky link stuff with me, or but I wasn't on that. So when I left him that morning, all the way until my birthday in July, I did not see Chuck, and even that whole stretch, that whole 7 months. But the universe is so funny that I ended up running into Chuck. Now, I ran into him on my birthday, and I didn't think he would be in that city at that same time because he didn't even live there, or so I thought he didn't even live there. But and plus it was raining that night. Like fate is so crazy. Like from January all the way to July, not thinking about this guy. I actually had met a whole nother guy, and then in July, I ended up running into him in the same city on one random night. Like it was pouring down raining. Like me and my best friend had got trapped in a bar, and that's the only reason we were there is because it was pouring down raining. We couldn't bar hop like we wanted to. The rain stops, or the rain slows down a little bit. I look up at the door, and walks Chuck and his friends. To my best friend, like, "Oh my God, like that's my ex sneak link. Like he just walked in here." It was the craziest thing ever. And even Chuck knew it was crazy because when he walked in, we saw each other. I didn't know if he was even gonna speak. Like it had been so long at this point. And so he walked by the table. We gave each other like a hey, like what's up, blah, blah. We acknowledged each other. But I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And so then Chuck texts me at the table, and he's like, "My friends want to talk to your friends or whatever." And I'm like, He's like, "What y'all about to do after this?" And it's already like almost 2 o'clock, so we really didn't have no plan. We were just gonna keep bar hopping. We ended up trying to bar hop with Chuck, but everything was slowing down, shutting down. It was like the end of the night. And me and Chuck were just walking around like whatever. And it was a cute little moment. Like I rode his back, like piggybacked on him and stuff. So it was just cute and nice to see him again. And on my birthday, like I was like, wow, what a surprise birthday gift from the universe. Like just treat people good, because you don't know when you're going to see them again. And it could be the most random time, and you could need help, or you could be in a good situation and be able to help them. But yeah, so it was so funny seeing Chuck that night. And that was the last time me and Chuck ever talked, like really. Like I had reached out to him, not even reached out, but I had just sent him something just to see if he would respond. And he didn't, and it was cool. And I was like, okay, well, that's the end of our little story. And sometimes life is like that. Like you have periods where people are in your life and they serve a purpose. And I think for me, with the Chuck being my longest sneaky link connection, like the longest sneaky link that I ever talked to. The point of him in my life was just to look back and be like, don't. Remember that time you didn't have boundaries with the guy? Remember that guy? Because if we had met now, like for the first time ever, if we had met now, our relationship would have been totally different. Also, the immature things that you do in college, like people don't forget those things. Like you think people would grow up and be like, oh, we were all young, like it doesn't matter. No, like people still will hold you to that stuff. Like it's the craziest thing. And because that's their impression of you. Like whether somebody meets you at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that's their impression of you. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Let's check the back. Yeah. Thank y'all though for tuning into this story time. It was so nice to talk to you guys, like, and just give some advice. I hope when I edit this it makes sense, because I was just rambling a lot of the time. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next time.